Hi, my name is Betsy Webb, and I'm the superintendent of the Bangor School Department. Very excited to be here today at the James F. Doughty School with a state champion. And I'd like to introduce to you James Fahey and his teacher, his social studies teacher, Miss Kennedy. And James, if you could start, let's tell the city of Bangor, what did you just accomplish this year?
I did a project for National History Day about Malcolm X and his contributions to the civil rights movement. It was for National History Day, which is a project where you can do a website, an exhibit, a performance, a documentary, or a paper on a topic that you choose. This year's theme was taking us in history, so I chose Malcolm because he fought for his ideas because they were unconventional and uncommon at the time, and he created a large following of people surrounded around his ideas.
Yeah, so he was kind of like ahead of his time,
Yes.
wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, and so you started this project in Miss Kennedy's class, is that right?
Yes.
And so everyone in the class was doing a project?
Mm-hmm.
And so in the class, what kind of work did you do to learn more about Malcolm X?
We had research periods where we would go through articles, searching about our person, and gathering information to become more familiar and have a better idea of their life. And we also did organizers and templates to fill out information on them, so we could have a better look at all aspects of what they're doing, like the individual person, and the cause that they're helping to, and how it contributed to the actual theme of taking a stand in history.
You know, one of the things that I'm really excited about in the Bangor School Department is our prioritization of helping students learn how to find information and to evaluate it. Because you've probably heard that people used to call it the information age, but now it's the knowledge age. And the reason being is because there's lots of information out on the web. Some of it's good, and some of it's not so good. It's not information that we would call real news, right? So how did you learn which sources you should respect and use, and which ones weren't that valuable?
There's always credible sources, stuff that you have heard or like you know of as a credible source. Like I used New York Times or History.com, which we know to be popular sources to go to for these kind of things. And there are also other things that I looked at, and I wasn't 100% if they were good sources to use, so I kind of stray away from them because they look kind of unofficial, like the website itself, and it doesn't quite look as professional as the other ones do. But like you said earlier, it's the knowledge age, so a big part of this is analysis rather than just spitting out information on a website. So I'm trying to find sources that give me information that I can work with and that I can use to explain how my topic is relating to the theme and explain Malcolm's contributions.
Awesome. And so, Miss Kennedy, you have all of your students do this in your classes, is that correct? They
all the
start
students in the accelerated classes.
in the accelerated classes. And so, what were you hoping for an outcome? I mean, did you ever dream that James would be so successful and earn the state championship?
Well, they knew there was a lot of pressure on them because we've won the past 2 years. We've had at least one project win. So, and James likes a challenge. So I had high hopes. I didn't tell him that, but he probably knew. But yeah, you know, all the kids work, and they can choose to work alone or with a partner, and he wanted to work on his own. And you know, they don't know what they're going to do as a project. They pick a topic and start to research it, and then I make them wait before they choose a paper or a website or whatever.
You did a website.
Yeah, I originally had wanted to do a paper because I thought it'd be something that not a lot of people would do, and I'd have an advantage because there'd be less. But as I started to look at the organizers and the rubrics for what I'd be doing if I was to do a paper, I kind of became uninterested in it because it didn't contain pictures or anything creative like a website would. So I wanted to be able to use multimedia like videos and pictures and quotes to have like a creative interface that I made for my website, which I thought I thought it'd be a lot more fun to do that than to just type out a paper. So I did a website.
I'll bet you it's a situation where you learned as much about technology as you did about Malcolm X.
We both
Yeah.
did.
You both did.
You have to,
Yeah.
you have to experiment with
Because
it.
they have
just-
a website that a builder that they want you to use a tool called
Okay.
Weebly, and so I was vaguely familiar with it from last year, but I definitely, he would come in and say, okay, I want it to do this, and we would Google how to do it and kind of learn together. So it was good.
That's
I knew
awesome.
as he started coming in and staying after and how seriously he was taking it, I knew that he was definitely onto something. So.
How many hours would you predict that you put in total on this project?
That's a hard question because there were times when I would be sitting just like not necessarily working on it, and I was thinking about what I'd want to do with it, not necessarily just working on it, but I wanted to formulate pages in my head and information that I wanted to put in them. So working on the website itself, obviously like hours and hours of working, but thinking was also a big part of the process.
Tell me 2 interesting things that you learned about Malcolm X that you didn't know before you even started this.
Well, his ideas alone were something that I didn't know about. I didn't know about him before doing the project, but when I saw what he was known for, I hadn't known that there was a more radical and non-pacifistic side to the civil rights movement in the 1960s. So seeing that in itself was something that I learned about him, and I also learned how much bigger the civil rights movement was than I had previously thought. Like how many separate leaders there were and how much history and roots there were to it.
And so in there are lessons for our society. And do you think that we have learned them?
Well, I think that we've definitely learned from it because through movements like the Black Lives Matter movement, I don't know how impressed he would be with that. Not because of its principles. I definitely think he would support it, but I think he'd be disappointed at how long it has taken to fully achieve what he had in mind when he was alive, because it's been nearly 40 years or nearly 50 years since he had been telling the world his ideas, and there's still movements surrounding the same problems that he had been trying to solve.
Right. So steps forward and steps backwards.
Yeah, I think definitely a big step in the right direction.
Yeah. When you had the day that your website was finally judged, did you speak in front of a panel and share what you had created and the learnings that you have done about Malcolm X?
So what it was is we had to turn in our websites a few weeks in advance for the judges that I was going to have. They were pre-picked.
Right.
So the judges that I was going to have could look at them and go through my website and know what it was about. And so what I did is I went and watched one of my friends' interviews because mine was in the last judging slot. And I was able to get a good idea of what to expect and what it was going to be like. So I went in, and there was 2 judges. One of them was an older professor, and one of them was a student at the university. And so what they wanted me to do was go through my website and explain the tabs to them and basically see my thinking and my analysis of it. Even though they had already seen it, they wanted to know what I thought of it. And when I got to a certain point, they kind of stopped me and started asking questions about my website and the information in it and how I had interpreted it. And they wanted to know my process of making it, sources that I had used, how I think it had impacted, how greatly it had impacted society and its contribution towards the theme.
And they have to do an annotated bibliography
Yeah.
too, so they have to Oh, they used every single
that
source.
was not fun.
Yeah.
But important.
Yeah, very
but
important.
incredibly important when we think of our information skills literacy component of our curriculum. That is how you will be evaluated with your thinking in the knowledge age, whether in middle school, high school, university, or in work. So that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, talking with you, it is so apparent to me that you learned about history. You learned about a person and their impact on society and the world. You learned technology skills, programming or setting up a website. But I love hearing the soft skills of you saying you only make a first impression one time.
Yeah, we had been on the ride there. My dad was telling me stuff to do, like greet them, shake their hand, say good morning, make a good first impression and everything. So I'd been trying to think of that because I was quite nervous going into the interview because I didn't quite know what to expect from it, even though I had seen one because all the judges are different.
Right.
But I wanted to do the best that I could.
Well, and you think, your dad's advice was incredibly wise, given that you had, it sounded like a couple of different generations there. And those are universal skills that make someone the total package, for sure.
Yeah, it could be used outside of just judging.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you had advice for me about this kind of learning in the Bangor School Department, do you think we should do more of these kinds of projects? You did this in an accelerated class in Miss Kennedy's social studies class. Is this something that we should try to do more often?
It's definitely something that I took a lot from, not only learning, but also time management and big workloads and how to work with that. But projects like these, if kept to like a reasonable amount, could be beneficial. But if there's too many, it can become like stressful and unenjoyable for the person doing it. So if they're kept to a reasonable amount, I think they're a good way of learning for the students.
You nailed it, because that's what the scholarly articles say about those types of projects, that they can be so helpful, but you have to be careful about overloading students.
Yeah, too many can be tedious.
And it is a balance, because I don't give them a lot of time in class because we have our
Other
curriculum that this is not a part of. So it really is time management.
No question. No question. Well, thank you very much. I'm so proud of you and all that you have accomplished. And on behalf of the Bangor School Department, we look forward to having you come to a school committee meeting and recognizing you for all of Bangor. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And we'll send you some pictures.
Awesome. That would be nice. That would be nice. Thank you.
Thank you.